Prepare yourself for a sprawling discussion on just about anything, where critical thinking meets pop culture in a collision of mind-bending proportions. Please secure all neurons and prepare for full frontal cortex. It's time for Starscream to rule the Decepticons.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the, what are we, 005? Ramble 005. And I started off a little slow there because I was trying to do Christopher Walken's voice and did a horrible job.
It took this long to get to Starscream, I have to tell.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. We finally used Starscream because today's episode is brought to you by Masterpiece Starscream. Yes! I'm here with everyone else! And it's my last masterpiece, so what do you guys say? Next week, you want to go G.I. Joe or Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Star Wars, alright, cool.
Yeah. Star Wars, good.
And by the way, we have someone new with us today.
Oh my god, yes, there's somebody else here!
Hey, hello, everybody.
Well, let's do introductions to start off with. There's, of course, as we've been doing every week, I'm Joey Schammel.
I'm Kail Anderson.
I'm Darryl Jors.
And new this week is...
Paul Hottinger.
Dun, 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 dun. We all did like different theme songs for him. Yeah. Okay. And today's
Paul's
theme...
still feeling WrestleMania from the intro.
What you gonna do? Yeah. The main theme for today is the mind, and we watched another 80s classic.
We watched a show.
That's much better than me.
Really good.
Nice.
That was really good.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
Christopher Walken called Brainstorm.
Speaking of Walken, it was kind of before he became a caricature of himself.
Yeah, I know.
That's true.
Yeah, because he was kind acting pretty straight there.
Yeah.
Not that his other acting is not straight.
We know what you
not in that context. Yeah.
The one thing of watching it is that it made me remember how good that movie was. At least to me, I thought it was great.
It's pretty good. I didn't really know about it.
And the technology, at least at the time when I was watching it, it looked so futuristic.
It has good special effects for 1983.
What's with the tape? I've never seen a tape like that they were using to record onto.
It was a decorative tape, actually.
Really?
You know
so
what
there's
I thought
no
was
real tapes like that?
Well,
Wait, it was decorative
3M...
with bling? Or was it like...
It kind of was.
Yeah, but...
It looked like a ribbon you put on a Christmas tree or something.
Well, I just need to say real quick, I did not watch the movie, but I did watch the trailer today and looked it up some stuff on Wikipedia. So I am ready.
So the
we'll allow that.
Thank you.
IMDb trivia
Judge
says that tape.
Judge says that usually if you don't watch a movie, it's bad.
It's bad.
Right.
Yeah, you should.
Well, I saw part of it.
But you didn't know you were coming on the show until.
No, I got a babysitter last minute and I was able to.
So he was on trailer time.
Somebody who knows they're coming on the show and supposed to watch something and doesn't, that's bad.
Right.
They get dogged the whole time.
Who would do that?
Do, yeah.
Jeez.
They might even host the program.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the mind. Okay, Brainstorm.
Well, we were talking about the tape though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the tape.
Yeah, the tape.
Okay, according to the trivia on IMDb, that was decorative tape made by 3M. It was only in 4-inch widths, so they had to manually cut it in half.
It looked like multiple tapes.
But it's, I guess it had 8 little corrugations instead of just 4, like in the movie. So they had to cut it half width to fit on the tape loops. Huh. And apparently it looked really gaudy at first, so they sanded it to make it more dull, so it wasn't quite so vibrant. Huh. So.
Let's fill in the people who haven't seen Brainstorm. Basically, the idea is this new technology for the 80s, and the way it worked is you would put a thing on your head and it would record all of your experiences, all of your senses, and then it would play them back on this very decorative tape to someone who is wearing
gold tape.
Yeah. Who was
that was in a trailer.
Yes,
very good.
Lights going through.
Yes, very good.
It was like prism.
It was like celluloid kind of tape.
And you'd wear it on your head, and you would have the exact same experience as that person had at that time.
That sounded
like
he was
ripped
saying,
off Strange Days.
It sounded like he was saying that he was wearing the decorative ribbon on your head, and that's what.
Yeah.
No, that
like tinfoil hats, you know.
So Christopher Walken, whose voice I can't even do.
You know what I gotta say? Every person who thinks they're a comedian or an impersonator thinks they can do Christopher Walken, and I'm not that good at it. I'm surprised it came out just now.
It did. It worked.
The thing is, like, it can so easily veer toward being Jackie Mason or Torgo, because like it starts going old Jewish man, and then it goes back to being like the master would not pro about this. So,
And if you got that connection, you're awesome.
Nanos,
You get
the
a
hands of
Greek
fate.
star.
You get the star. You get the geek star right there.
The
So-
geek badge.
So the reason we watched this was because, of course, we're talking about the mind this week, coming off from dreaming last week. So, Kail, you were saying you thought it was awesome.
Oh yeah, I just and it worked on many different levels. I thought like Christopher Walken always does a good job. He's very interesting. He's strange, but for some reason you want to keep watching him, even whatever he's in.
Even when he's staring into space, when he's in the little mind hat thing, he just looks like he's about to kill someone. He's spaced
Something
out
about that face.
Or shoot
Yeah.
himself in the head.
Could be. Yeah.
You know what? It looks like he's about to say something because that's what his face looks like whenever he's about to talk. Just like
Oh
that.
my god!
Yeah, like
He's surprised he's speaking.
his performance in Wayne's World 2
Words
was,
are coming out.
that was
Right.
like the
He
best.
was in Wayne's World too.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh yeah.
That was,
man.
oh,
Wait, was he the glass eye guy? No, that was
No, that was
my
the,
bad. It's been so long since I've seen it.
Okay, Darryl,
Yeah.
brainstorm.
What did you
I
think
didn't
about
think you'd
it?
like it, but you actually thought it was good.
Okay, I have to say it's
He's
kind
got
of
a
like a
qualified
special
yes.
effects vehicle, which I'm not against that. Some movies are really good pieces of spectacle, and this was a great example of that. In fact, the director was Douglas Trumbull. And can you name another later thing that he directed?
No.
No?
No, that's what I said. No.
No.
Really? Because he directed Back to the Future, the ride.
Okay, I was going to say, no, he didn't.
I was going to say, boy, there's another one for Darryl.
Okay,
The drinking game can begin.
for those of you out there who've ever been on Back to the Future, the Ride at Universal Studios, half of the people who are sitting here at the podcast worked there.
yes,
Nope.
we saw it
Except
many.
me.
Yeah.
Many
Well, no,
times.
half of the people, and that's Paul and
Right.
myself, both
And
worked there.
I never
And
even
Kail
rode the ride.
Oh, man.
Really?
Can you believe
That
that?
was nice.
Well, for those of you who are now going to Universal Studios and have gone on The Simpsons, they're using the exact same motions from the Back to the Future ride. They didn't change the motions. They made the
Which is pretty
cartoon match the motions from Back to the Future.
I
They're
thought
mixed
that was
up. but-
Transformers now.
No, so
No.
did I. Transformers is a completely different ride.
Oh, all right.
Transformers is part video and part like moving around ride. It's like the
all right.
Spider-Man one at Islands of Adventure.
I think an alternate name for Brainstorm could have been Douglas Trumbull's DP got a canoptic lens and needed something to do with it. So,
His
Canoptic
super
lens?
fish.
His
white
deep
lens.
penetration.
Oh, all right.
His
Yeah.
double
In fact,
penetration.
there's
What?
a scene in the movie where you see it. You know when they're doing the
DP.
flight sim? Wait, not that kind of DP. This
only
is
DP I
director of
know.
photography.
I knew that.
Yeah, okay. But the scene where they're doing the flight simulation and there's that model of like an F-16
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
on a gimbal, they have this huge lens that the lady sticks her face in, and that's probably the lens they were using on their 70mm camera. And I love lenses that are awesome, and that looks like a great lens. Even
like
from
big
83,
lenses?
that lens would still shoot awesome looking stuff. In fact, they might have even used it for the ride because they
I
had to
would
do
imagine.
the big,
Yeah, it had to be for IMAX.
It was.
wide,
Yep. It was.
like concave screen.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they probably did that.
Well, let me say what I didn't like about the movie, which was they switched back and forth from going when you're seeing it from the point of view of the person who like recorded the memories, and then all of a sudden it goes outside of that person. That really bugged me.
Yeah,
you guys remember when that happened? I know
There was
it's
discontinuity to it.
Because it's
Well,
like-
I agree with you on that. I would have preferred it to be
The
first
thing is,
person.
though, it's her memories after she was passing on, though. That's the thing.
no,
Spoiler alert,
no,
spoiler alert.
that was fine. That was
Yeah.
He
fine.
was talking about his memories.
Well, no, actually, he was fine. When he had the memories and the emotions and he gave them to her, they were all from his point of view. But then when she said, or I'm sorry, the other way around. When she gave him her memories inadvertently,
Yeah.
okay, it was all from her point of view. But then he said,
Right.
here you go, here's my
Right.
memories. And then they were
And then it
starting to be
became
from
the
one, and then it was
montage.
both of them.
Right,
And I was like,
right,
what
right,
the?
right.
That's what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
That is kind of weird.
That pulled me
Yeah.
out. I was like, that's not supposed to be doing that way.
I get it.
Now, if they were dreaming and recording the dream, then
It'd be fine, yeah.
then it would have been okay.
So for my opinion, I thought it was okay. I saw it when I was young, and I liked it better when I was young. I seem to remember more excitement. Like I thought there was like murders and stuff going on, and
Yeah,
it was
you
more of a
described it a
mental-
little bit as someone becoming more like a psycho killer or something.
yeah, that's
That
kind of
didn't
what I
really happen.
thought it was when
Psycho killer.
not
I
psycho killer.
kinda thought.
No, I was
Like
I-
it drove people crazy.
yeah,
guess.
I thought, and you could kill somebody.
Oh, no, I said that the one guy died. Remember that, whatever his name was, the guy who was their pilot, and
Okay.
he got killed by the Secret Service or whatever, the CIA guys.
I know. I think. Yeah. And I think what happened was, I don't know if it was him, but one of the guys died because they followed the death tape out. They just mentioned that he died. They don't say anything about it. Yeah,
because
he watched it.
They kept him linked into the heart as the one.
But it wasn't that. That wasn't that guy died too. I think, but I think it was somebody watched the entire death tape.
Right.
To the end.
And that was the...
Yeah. Right. And when I was watching it, I was starting to wonder if it was going to kind of go along the lines of Hollow Man, where, it was this kind of cocky, a little bit arrogant scientist who was trying to protect his... I guess that's a spoiler for Hollow Man.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, because he was trying to protect this invisibility thing that they were developing for the government.
It's an all right movie.
And then, later on, it drove him kind of nuts. I was wondering if this was going to happen in this movie, but it didn't quite get there.
Well, no, I think it worked out. It came back at the end where he was going to die because he was being taken to the death. Well, it didn't
turn into a slasher flick.
Well, yeah. But, but then the wife brought him back and said, "Please come back to me, you promised." And then she drowned. Oh, wait, no, that was real life. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes, this was Natalie Wood's.
Yeah, you're confusing reality again.
Wow.
But why don't we try to direct this into our conversation of the mind? Unless you want to bring up anything in particular.
I have one more comment to make.
Sorry, go ahead.
Aesthetically.
Put your leg out.
That was just off context, and we don't know what you're talking about. But go
I
ahead,
was playing footsie with Kail.
Oh, okay, we're good now. Go.
So, in terms of aesthetics, I thought it was interesting that the majority of the movie was in a 1:8:5 aspect ratio, so there were pillar boxes on the sides. So, when you watch movies are extra widescreen, you get the letterbox top and bottom, while pillar boxes on the sides. Then when you go to the dream sequences, it was actually shot 70 millimeter and widescreen, so it's 2.35:1. I don't know which version you guys wound up watching, but if you watch the
I rewatched the YouTube version.
The YouTube?
Yeah. I downloaded it. I have no idea what it was.
Okay, so on the Blu-ray, they represent it just like it would have been in the theater. They projected it onto a 2.35.
Okay, that would have been cool to watch in the theater.
So basically,
you're watching this, and then the dreams are like that.
Right, it gives you the effect that the director was looking for. He wanted the sequences where you're in someone else's mind to be hyper real. So this movie's just like in the center of the screen in real life, and then every time you get the vision of what's happening in someone's head, it goes super widescreen.
If I'd known you were watching the Blu-ray, I would have come over and watched it with you.
Yeah, it's on Blu-ray?
Yeah, it is actually.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
with that pillar box effect,
it's also
didn't they do that in
on
Tron
your
Legacy?
favorite torrent stream, too.
You start off that way, and then when you went in the...
Blu-ray in air quotes.
I don't know. Paul's gonna point. Did they do that in Tron Legacy?
Tron Legacy,
they did 3D. I don't know if they did.
Yeah, they had some sequences that were 3D and others that weren't.
Yeah, it turned 3D when it went.
It turned 3D when you go into
the
Matrix.
Yeah.
The computer.
Okay, so let's move over to the mind now. And oh god. Okay, Darryl.
Number 2.
One last point.
Oh, if you thought high frame rate at 48 frames per second was awesome, the director intended to do the dream sequences at 60 frames per second.
Oh my god.
But retrofitting the theaters was too much money back then, so they didn't do it. But that was the original plan. It was going to be that they were going to frame double all the regular life sequences, and then when you go inside someone's head, 60 frames per second high frame rate.
Yeah.
Now that would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Seriously, way ahead of its time, right? Yeah. So that's part of why I respect the movie a lot. It just seemed like a technical masterpiece, really beautifully shot. The story and acting sometimes were a little flaky, but I can forgive that because it was just stunning.
I got lost at the whole 18 part where they had the montage and all this cool stuff happen. I mean, I felt like the music should have been going on in the background because they did all this awesome stuff, but I was like, well, how did that happen?
You see Mr. T taking it.
And then
tire off.
And then that guard.
It got
the guard's like, whoa, no, it's a good thing these boxes all had foam in it.
There was some very out-of-place slapstick near the end there.
Yeah. One of the things I really liked was that the headset that the small one that they went to, that's almost exactly the headset that now that computer company that does Mindscape or whatever, that it looks almost identical to that. And the one where you can lift rocks with your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I know what you mean. They had that. That's on clearance everywhere. I want to get one of those.
Oh, yeah. That's that mind game.
Like the thing that, like the Jedi thing.
Right. It is similar.
It's really cool, but it's not a good game.
My nephew has it. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
you know what? It's too small for my head.
You know you've really mastered that game when you can stand on your head and lift the rocks at the same time.
Yeah. And a box.
Yeah, and a box.
And a green
guy.
R2-D2.
Right.
All right, Joe.
Okay, so now we're going...
No,
shut up, Darryl!
Oh, wait, I just want to say, The trailer was just awesome.
Thank you, Paul. All right.
It wasn't in HD, though.
My first question that I'm posing to everyone here about the mind, so we can train track.
Yeah, down right off the rails.
Derailing.
Yeah, change tracks a little is, how is the mind different from the brain? I think we need a definition here. Let's start off with Paul, because he's our guest.
Well, what can it be? Well, I see the brain as your physical brain. It's the matter, the gray matter that's in there. You touch it,
physical part.
The physical part.
Squishy.
What you take out.
Whoa,
lobotomize, whatever. No, I'm taking my brain out.
What do you know? Paul's popular at parties because he just
Wait, we're talking about
the lab shape comes
brain.
off and then the brain comes out. It's awesome looking.
Yeah. But the mind is your thoughts. It's your soul. It's how you use your brain.
Ooh, I like that. How you use your brain. Very cool. So next, let's go to Darryl.
Okay.
He talked too much last time. Kail, you go next.
Right.
Oh, he's
I agree.
Well, mine's simple. I think that the brain is like the machine, and your mind is the hologram it creates.
Ooh.
And that's what I think. It
Excellent. And Darryl, what about you? Mind, brain, what's your thoughts?
No, I agree. I talked too much last time. It's good.
No, go, Darryl.
So, again, the whole thing about duality, the physical neurons and matter that makes up your brain versus the thoughts that go on within. And is there really a difference? Is it all the electrochemical reactions that go on, and that's what is the being, the soul, and everything else? Or is there something more than that? Do we perhaps extend into other dimensions and whatnot? I have no evidence of this, so don't hold me to it, and don't ask for proof. Darn you. Don't ask for proof, okay? It's just an idea.
Okay, well, I want to go off of that because, not get off, but go off of that. Because my next question is, how could the mind exist outside the brain? And I saw a show, I think it was Discovery, and I'm going to explain this totally horribly like I do everything else, but I'm going to try. The guy said...
Let Starscream explain it.
The guy said that the mind, Megatron...
It's like Axel Cobra Commander.
He transitions back and forth.
No, I think it was an episode of Curiosity or something like that. I'll try to find it. I'll try to put it in the show notes. But it's where they say, Kail, what's that thing called? The two particles.
Entanglement.
Entanglement. Okay,
quantum entanglement.
They think that the theory is that the brain, when you think a thought, it gets quantum entangled to some point outside of the mind. Mm-hmm. Which, outside of the brain, outside of you, which allows it to exist externally from the brain. And therefore, even after you die, you still exist because you're entangled with this other part somewhere. And it was much more scientific than that, but it was very cool.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was a cool idea. And I like that idea that scientifically, I mean, we can all start talking about the soul and spirits and,
let's not.
Well, we can. Come on, it'll be interesting. Once again, most of us are skeptics.
You're just down the rabbit hole, Joe.
Yeah, I know. But I like the idea that scientifically there might be something beyond the brain. What?
Never mind.
Okay. So what do you guys think? Can the mind exist outside the brain? Is it possible? At least today.
I think the brain is physically necessary for the mind to occur. That's my take on it.
So when you're dead, you're dead.
But could you link two minds together? I think that's part of what
Here
Brainstorm
I am
illustrated.
nodding instead of saying yes. I agree with Darryl.
Brainstorm illustrated the power of connecting two minds because that's perfect communication. Think about the best communicators in history. They're limited to using language to get thoughts from one place to another. But if you see it in the movie, a couple that doesn't understand one another until they get to see each other from each other's
That was my favorite part of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's touching.
Where she says that now I understand. And you're right, that perfect communication, all of a sudden, now you do understand.
You see it from their point of view.
It would change the world completely.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad they focused on that in the movie, and thanks for bringing that up, because I forgot. In the movie, the two people are getting divorced. Christopher Walken is divorcing the dead girl, Natalie Wood.
She wasn't dead at the time.
Well, I know. She died during.
In fact, that's grounds for divorce right there. Woman, you're dead.
You're dead to me. You've drowned.
No, not just to you.
Okay, so they then share each other's thoughts through this and feelings, and they have such a touching kind of reunion and how they love each other. It's so good. It's just very, very well done.
I think it invites you to think in your mind about what would happen if you could share thoughts with someone else who has a different perspective from you, which is basically everybody. Except for the panelists of this podcast, we all kind of think alike.
I'm pretty close, yeah.
But really, though, you know what? You can try to understand what it's like to be a woman in our society, or maybe someone from a different ethnic background in the society. But how do you really understand it until you see it from their perspective?
Right.
Right. Have sex as a woman.
Hey.
That would be interesting.
With a man?
Yeah. That's like in prison.
You can do that if you want. We could work that out.
But would you want to really experience everything from exactly someone else's point of view? Would you want to
know
their feelings? Because as a person, we filter things out.
I think to answer
something
that,
could be say something, and what I'm telling you, I could be thinking something inside here. My mind's going crazy all over the place. Do you want to experience? Do you want to experience my head?
Yeah, for a little while. For a little while, I'll experience your mind.
That was the line you said to your wife before.
Yeah.
Is that what got her?
You want to experience my head?
Great metaphor.
But what if it brainwashes you? I mean, what's it? You go in there and then you align.
That's brainwashing. I think that's we're limited to one point of view.
But that's what I'm saying.
So if we saw other points of views, I think we would attempt to understand the other side.
No, and I think that's a great positive way of looking at it. But let's say you go into someone else's brain and then you start agreeing with them. Is it because you really agree with them and you see their point of view, or maybe things have just aligned and it's kind of infected your brain?
But what if, in the grand scheme of things, they're right and you were wrong all along?
Well, they're not.
Okay, so if they're convinced they're right, maybe if they look into your mind, they could see the other point of view and realize their problem. But I think it would bring everybody a little closer to the truth.
Yeah.
I think it would. I think that experiencing somebody else's point. I mean, the whole point of empathy is so that you can experience what somebody else is thinking, and when you're empathetic, you totally. I think you're a much better person.
That's the thing. You have to, if you were to look into somebody's mind and see things from their point of view, you have to feel it as well. Mm-hmm. You can't just see it, but you have to experience it like you're really there to really get the feeling of what they're going through.
And the other thing is that if this technology existed, you would always feel like you have an escape hatch. You could experience what someone goes through on a day-to-day basis and realize the potential horrors of their life. But then you can exit that anytime you want to, and that's your advantage. So you would never really get the
it's like Total Recall
hopelessness of actually being in that life, because you can just unplug yourself and get out at any time. So it's not as devastating feeling, I would suppose. And about your thing about if this is something people would really want to do, Paul, I think that it would be, because our entertainment is pretty much feeble attempts at trying to step into some other person's shoes. We want to hear the hero's journey because we want to be the hero for a little while. And we watch a film or play a game or do whatever to fit that other role. But we never quite get to the point of actually being that other person.
Yeah, because we don't feel it.
Yeah,
you see what's going on. You think you do.
Yeah.
Whatever your experiences are, you compare it to theirs, but you don't get the full effect.
And it seems like anything we do, we're always a spectator too. Even if we've got perfect simulations where it was all the senses alive, you're still observing it with your own mind and applying your own emotional spin on it. So I think in Brainstorm, they were trying to show that not only were all the senses feeding into your brain, but also the emotions of the other person were there too. And that's a big difference between what we have in terms of watching a film or whatever. The director can try to nudge our emotions a certain direction, but can't necessarily give us the emotions.
Yeah. And sometimes we're not aware of everything that is coming in. I mean, there's so much that a person is experiencing at one point. We talked about that with dreams and reality and everything. There's just so much coming into our senses, and we only focus usually on one part. And there's probably a lot that is also unconscious. A lot of parts of the mind which are unconscious. A lot of parts which we don't see every day. So what are we consciously aware of and what are we not? I mean, obviously there's the perspective we have of the world, the model we've made of the world, and that's what we've talked about before. But what else is in the mind that we don't see a lot or we're unaware of?
Probably the neurons.
Yeah.
Well, psychologically, I think everyone has a certain amount of There are just certain things that you don't want to feel all the time, so that you bury them, and you don't want to deal with them, or you try to put them off so you handle them later on. And I think that in a way is also shown in the movie, that the emotional connection they make when they see each other's point of view. They also kind of, there's that one program in the film that they show that's supposed to take your darkest fears and turn them against you.
Right, yeah.
And I don't know exactly how that was supposed to operate, because it's so different from recording someone's memories, because it made it personal. It made it, this is going to find your darkest fear.
That machine just didn't do memories. It seemed to do a lot of other strange stuff.
This fictional machine.
Well, to add on to what you're saying, share a personal story. My dad passed away about a year ago, and my mom passed away actually almost exactly 4 years ago. And I deal with it kind of strangely. It's not very much out in the open, and it's very internal. And even for me, I don't really know how I'm dealing with it. Like, I know there's something in there. I know because my dad had a really rough last year. And I know there's a lot that's getting to me, but I can't place it, because it doesn't, for me, death and loss doesn't come out like it does in a lot of people. It's not very on the surface. And so I know I was sad about it at the time, but even when I think about it now, I could see there's something going on underneath my consciousness. And it's something I know I'm going to eventually, have to probably get some therapy for, because I'm not really sure what it is. And I try to look at it, but it's almost beyond my reach.
It can take a long time to unpack feelings like that. And one of the best ways to do it is to talk about it. You really need to have people in your life you can open up to.
And that's something I actually have a theory about. The reason that therapy works is because, and the reason it takes so long is because what you're actually doing is you're changing the patterns of the neurons in your head. And that's a slow process. Mm-hmm. And it's like learning, like when I learned to play guitar, they say it takes like 10,000 hours to become an expert at something. And I'm not even close to that yet. But
you should look up who said that.
Actually,
we know exactly who said that.
Kail
it's
did.
No, it's
we don't have our fact checker this time.
I know we don't. Well, they did so good last time.
Yeah.
No, it was the book called Talent. No, was that
Talent is overrated.
No. It was a one word, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll look it up and we'll put it in the show notes if we can find it. Yeah.
My point was that the reason is that after you practice a certain amount of time, then the neurons in your brain are reinforced. There's more of them. The myelin sheaths get thicker. And that is why later on you can play like a virtuoso. And I think it's the same thing with therapy. And that's why it works.
And then like with your guitar playing and stuff, the way you play now, there's no way you can remember what it was like before. Like sitting there trying to learn. Like, maybe you only know like 5 notes and stuff. But 10,000 hours later, when you're playing like Slash or whatever, you do Slash,
yeah, that would be.
You remember playing only that 5 few notes and stuff, but you don't have that feeling of like that frustration or anything.
Maybe a way of.
Well, see, and that's the thing is that it's gone from conscious thinking over to your unconscious, and that's your unconscious mind is like a genius. Once it learns something, it knows it. And it knows it every time. And that's why when you've gained that experience and you now have, it's the same with driving, once you know how to drive, you can just not think about it and drive.
I think that's probably muscle memory to a large degree.
Well, the car, yeah. And
because you it's the thing about forgetting about yourself, letting yourself go in order to perform a task. Because, for example, playing an instrument, if you're thinking about exactly what you're playing, you tend to get lost in it because you're going to overthink it. You're going to second guess, wait, was that the right note? Am I moving the right finger? Am I doing things exactly the right way? And muscle memory is what you really need to depend on. After you've repeated it over and over and over again, your muscles remember the sequence.
I don't think it's just muscle memory, though. I think it's part of your brain, too. I know there's muscle memory.
But it's the speed of the brain, too. Because like you play a sport,
right?
Like you're playing baseball, and you're like at shortstop, and a ball's hit to you. You're not thinking, okay,
right?
I mean, you are thinking split second. Glove goes down, hit the dirt. That whole motion and stuff. Well, it's just this speed.
Well, you're the commander. You just say, "I got to catch that ball," and your body.
Yeah,
who's commander?
Cobra Commander.
Commander.
Yes.
Okay, if we had video right there, you would have seen Darryl come over to me and say, "Who's Commander?" and just this blank look on my face. Me?
He's zoning out here.
Didn't quite get there with that one.
To connect on to what he's saying, though, I've always felt, and I remember hearing this when I was younger, is the iceberg idea. The consciousness is like the tip of the iceberg, and then the rest of it is all below. And the what we know, the consciousness is kind of like the Cobra Commander, but he's the one in charge. But he's also the only one who can.
Your id.
Yeah, the only one who could have like a personality and be human.
No?
The rest of it's kind of like a computer. What? I'm talking here, guys. What the hell?
Are you talking?
I'm talking here.
All right.
Hey, I'm talking here.
Sorry about that. He triggered something. I don't
Italian
like
Joey came out.
Hey,
the
what's
terms id, ego, superego. I don't like that. I think it clouds the issue, although there is some truth to it. And I'm not going to talk any more about it.
Soapbox off.
Off. Yeah.
Kick him off.
So, so how does the brain work then? I mean, we've got this huge part of it that we're not really even conscious of that's doing all the muscle movement. We don't think about walking, obviously. If you think about walking, you're going to be like, whoa, I have to do all these.
Or what happens if you think about walking?
I don't know, Darryl. What happens? Tell us right now.
Walking walks.
You start to talk like you're in a movie.
Now start thinking about it and do it again.
Okay. Then you start to sound like the master will not approve.
We have done clinical proof right here.
So the brain is
Gets in the way of walking. Yes.
Yes, it does.
the brain's not made for walking.
Oh,
Well, one of the things Paul talked about, what I want to rephrase is a common saying. I think maybe what you're saying about you can't forget how to do something, it's like you can't unlearn how to ride a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
So it's the whole thing about like, usually people say you never forget how to ride a bicycle, but I think that it's more true to say that unless you suffer some weird
like
anomaly
Phineas Gage
or
the head.
you suffer
I
brain
love the name
damage. You
Phineas
just
Gage.
simply, that muscle memory is there. You have the neural circuitry for it. You can't really unlearn it.
It's just
aside
finding the
from
path
trying.
back to it.
You would probably have to practice falling off your bicycle before you forget how to ride anymore. So,
Well, and then also fears and other experiences may change that, because I cannot ride my bike the same way I did when I was 12. Because
this time you put the
I'm
seat on
afraid.
first.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm afraid of cracking something down there,
Yeah. Okay.
and
Right.
I just can't do the same. Can't do the same jumps. Can't do the same
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. No crackling oat brand for you.
A better understanding of reality
Yeah.
Well, I think that's
makes you understand you can get hurt.
But isn't that how the brain works? You, over time, you have a pathway, which at first is hard to form. But then as the pathway in the brain gets created, and the more you do it, the more habit you have, the stronger that pathway becomes, thus creating the ability to do something. And I think if you ride a bike and you've ridden it enough, then how are you going to get rid of that pathway? It's like chiseled into your brain. Unless you have some sort of physical trauma, there's probably no way you can overcome that pathway.
It becomes part of you.
Yeah. I mean, eventually what's happening is all this stuff we're talking about, we say mind, it's all biological. It's all physical, because we see it in this kind of idea. Like when you look at a computer, it's a physical thing, but really, you look through the monitor and you've got the internet, and you've got just this other world out there that seems infinite. And it's like our mind seems infinite, but it's really all based in the physical brain. It's all biological. But
it's billions of neurons with trillions of connections, so it's a
Right.
vastly complicated system.
right.
And it's so complicated that, but it has such power. You can actually have more than one mind in the same head. I mean, people who have multiple personalities,
Well,
those are actual different people.
There's the whole idea of the consensus of you.
Yeah,
You
and I
always
believe that.
have this argument going. It's like you have a panel of personalities inside your head,
Yes.
and
Right.
your
There's a book we're
decision
about to
making.
read.
Your decision making is just basically like a voting system.
Yeah.
Like this part of you that wants to do something base and tell a nasty joke or whatever is competing with the person that wants you to be nice and clean because you're on the internet right now.
The nasty
And they
always wins.
most of the time. Especially when we talk about the DP.
Yes.
There's a book that says exactly that, which Kail has on Audible, which I bought and never read, but wanted to, and it was a yellow book. And I'm trying to find it.
It had a bunch of thing numbers in it.
Do you know how many times I hear that at our library?
The cell has a
Do you
mind
really?
of its
By the way,
own.
Paul's a librarian.
awesome.
The cell has a mind of its own? Something?
No. It's
we can use that knowledge. We need references, man.
I will find...
We should stop using...
I don't know
Wikipedia as a
anything, but I can
primary
help
reference.
you find something.
Awesome.
That's on my
By the
card.
way, while you're looking that up, the 10,000 hours of practice is Malcolm Gladwell. That's his idea.
Yeah, and now everybody talks about it now.
Yeah.
And then actually they're saying that that's one book that I think it's Talent is Overrated.
Yeah.
That they were talking about Mozart, and everybody thinks, oh, well, he just came out of the womb being able to be a musical genius. Right. But when you look closely at his life, his father was training him at 3 years old, and his father was a very famous music teacher at the time. And so he had developed this system of teaching music, and he used it on Mozart, and it was really awesome. And it's basically the way we teach people.
Incognito!
Okay.
Incognito.
It's called Incognito by David
That, by the way, is
That
an
makes
example
sense.
of how to be incognito.
You're right.
Go ahead, Paul.
I mean, it's just like sports stars and stuff. You have quarterbacks like Peyton Manning and Eli Manning, whose father played football.
Well,
Or Tiger Woods.
Or Tiger Woods, whose dad taught him
Yeah.
starting as a kid.
Illustrate it this way: not every kid you develop musically from the age of 3 is going to become Mozart.
Right. It's
There's
nature
some
and
innate-
nurture.
right.
It's both.
However, you would have to be some freak of nature to just pick something up and within an hour you're Mozart, right?
Yeah.
Because that is completely rare. You have to work at it, no matter what your talent level.
And the thing is that people who have that great potential, they still have to practice that 10,000 hours to become that master.
Exactly.
Let me give you an example. I have a kid in my class. Her name is Princess. She's 3rd grade, and I've had a lot of kids that can draw in my class. She is incredible. All right. She just can, from memory, she can draw these things better than most adults I know. It's just incredible. And the thing is, she's this cute little girl, and she's drawing all the time, but that's just it. She's drawing all the time. She doesn't want to play on computers.
And the system tries to break you of that. I used to always draw little doodles
yes,
in
you
the
did.
margins
That's
on my
right.
homework and stuff, and all my teachers would send notes home saying, tell Darryl to stop doodling on his homework. But
I believe she is gifted, and we give her time to draw for that purpose. I talked to the mom at home. The mom says she doesn't want to play with dolls. She doesn't want to watch TV. She draws all the time.
Yeah,
I think
sounds
she's
great.
Yeah, I think she's got a little bit of autism in there. But the thing is, that's kind of what happens. And she's like 7 years old, and her drawings are incredible.
Yeah. My brother Adam is the same way. Is he
Prince?
No.
the other one's Princess. So
Princess.
Wait, Prince Adam.
yeah, Prince
Yeah,
Adam.
there you go.
Exactly.
Anyway, my brother
Hey, isn't that
Adam.
when you pierce your penis? Well, that's Prince Albert.
Prince Albert, yeah.
And I can't-
Wow, I never made that
God.
connection. Do you think Prince Adam had a Prince Albert?
no,
And I'm not saying that. I'm
but
saying
Cringer did. I don't know.
But he had a
I was saying,
Ortho.
did he ever get with Prince Albert?
He had a man at arms and a beast man.
And
Oh, we're going off the rails early, guys. It's only 40 minutes in.
and Skunkor.
By the way, after 10,000
Manny
hours
faces.
of podcasting, we'll finally get it.
That's right. So keep listening. We'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Wow.
Episode 10,000 is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and on Robot Chicken they had, of course, Trainor, who was at the attorney at Jim, and they had Toothor, who was the attorney at Dentist. It's quite good. Oh, where were we? Mine, right? Yes, okay. Oh,
In fifth grade, I drew this like He-Man cow, and I called it B4.
I remember that. You showed me that.
That's great.
B4. So we talked a little bit about how the brain is and how it's powerful. Well, how powerful is it? Can we use it? What's that whole? We only use 10% of our brain, which isn't really true, but
No.
Right.
yeah. But how much do you think we could improve our brain's effectiveness?
Well, when we merge with machines, we're going to be able to.
Okay, why don't you tell us a little bit about your idea about merging with machines? Because that's always an interesting topic.
Well, I just finished reading How to Create a Mind by Ray Kurzweil, and it's awesome. And I recommend it to anybody. But in there, he's talking about how
Would you recommend it to a fish?
I would recommend it to a fish. I would recommend it to a fox in a box.
Nice.
Anyway, so
I'm so sorry.
Anyway.
So he talks about the technological singularity where he's saying 2029 that machines are going to be smart enough and we're going to merge with them and we're going to get smarter. And yes, we'll probably sexually merge with them too. Yes.
Yeah, it's already happening. I saw that machine on the internet.
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
I think I bought that.
That's not a website, by the way. If you're under the age of 13, don't try it. Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah, like they haven't already.
Well, this is supposed to be for people 18 and over anyway.
Hey, we're
So if
CYA,
you can't take
man.
it, don't
CYA.
listen.
Thank you very much.
Here's Kail.
Okay.
Returns to the scene. Action.
Oh, am I still talking about that? I don't know. I think we went off the rails on that one. I was just saying that, we're going to be able to, that one guy who already had a chip put in his head and he was able to control a computer mouse with his mind.
Oh, yeah.
And we're already going there. So eventually, we're going to have a little chip in our head. It's going to be our phone. It's going to be our personal computer. It's going to be all that. And we will actually hallucinate the augmented reality in front of ourselves.
But
Yeah,
Kail,
and one terrorist with an EMP drop it into the city, we all end up drooling ourselves eating pudding. I mean,
Well, how's that different from some sort of chemical warfare? We
yeah.
do that anyway with certain
I'm sure we'll
agents,
harden the
biological ones.
technology.
yeah, we're good at
against
hardening
EMP.
things.
but I wonder how much space you put the technology, we
But
merge
think about,
with it. Is there going to be how many terabytes or what?
Do you really want Microsoft writing the firewall for your brain?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue
The
then.
thing is, I think this is evolution.
Yeah.
We may say that, this is artificial evolution, but I think this is how it goes. We've gotten to the point now where to get smarter, to get better, we have to become cyborgs.
Well, damn.
And now we have to insert some Daft Punk right here.
Yeah.
Well, damn. A beaver dam. That's something a beaver makes, but it's part of the evolution of a beaver.
And then the dam busters come along.
Well, see, that's
Hey, when I was doing the show notes, I found out that dam, like the type of dam that holds water, it's not in with an N.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
I was like halfway through the show notes, and I was like, wait a minute, something's not right here.
So the beavers work hard?
beavers.
Damn.
Always work hard.
They work hard.
Damn, they work hard. Yeah.
But what about the people, Kail, who are afraid that the computers are going to take over our minds?
What the hell is
They're afraid. They're afraid.
Oh, you mean
Oh.
like the Luddites?
Well, whoever. Just
Yeah.
a lot of people
Yeah.
say that if we
Right.
merge with computers, then they're going to take over. It's going to be Judgment Day. Dun, 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 dun.
No, see, that's the thing is that scenario, the machines did not merge with us. And that's why, because the machines are going to get sentient eventually. It's going to happen. And in order for us to continue to move forward, we're going to have to merge because otherwise we're going to be probably subservient to machines.
Isn't it going to suck, though, when you go to hit the shutdown button in Windows and you're taking a life?
Wow.
You have the blue screen of death.
Blue screen, literal.
So do you think with technology and merging with technology, is it going to move first towards when you're saying cyborg, not with your mind, but your body?
Well,
It's like prosthetic. You got an Anakin arm, and you're turning into Darth Vader.
Well, they actually have a pretty good arm now that's actually controlled by the mind. So we're getting closer to that one all the time.
I want to hit back on something that Darryl said about the blue screen of death and that idea of killing someone by turning off Windows.
Besod.
Okay, the idea, for those of you out there who are Star Trek fans, the idea of transporting. Well, is transporting really just making a copy of yourself and destroying the original copy? Spoiler alert, for those who've seen The Prestige.
I was just going to say the Prestige.
Awesome freaking movie.
Okay, try not
Great
to spoil
movie.
it for me. I need
I
to
haven't
watch
seen
it.
it either.
Okay.
I need to watch it.
Okay, well, you guys should watch it. But the thing is, the idea that I'm going with the mind is, what if we're like that? What if every moment, because every 7 years we replace ourselves, right?
Yeah.
I think that's about what it is. Where all of a sudden we're a completely new person, but because we've kind of been there the whole time, we don't notice it. So what if maybe, let's just say every night when we go to sleep, what if we die? And in the morning, it's just a copy. The copy would have no idea that it's different because it's got the memories. It's got everything. Maybe that's just how life is.
There's an allegory for that, and I don't know who to credit it to, but it's about a ship, wooden ship, has been at sea for a long time, and it suffers some mast damage, so they replace the masts and the sails, and then the hull of the ship starts getting dry rot, so they put it in dry dock, and they replace all the wood there, and then the decks need work, so they replace all the decks. Now, all along, this has been the captain's ship, but by the end of the day, the only thing that's left that's original is the steering wheel, the captain's wheel. Mm-hmm. So is that still the captain's ship, or because all that has been retrofitted and replaced, is it something different entirely?
But maybe
that's a point of view. It's like restoring a car.
Right.
You know, there's no you get a jalopy and you put all new pieces on it and stuff, and
exactly, it's point of view because it depends on how you're seeing it.
Right, and that's it. Is that
it's a restoration?
It is just a point of view. It's the same thing.
Or
if you were replaced instantly, or if you were replaced over time. Ray Kurzweil actually talks about that in The Mind, almost exactly the way Joey talked about it. But he says, and he shows that it is actually the same thing. We don't think of it that way because we're thinking, oh, we're still here and now there's this copy. But that's us too.
But you are different every day.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the thing. I mean, your memories, what you learn every day or what you forget every day, you're just, every day you're a different person.
And think of it this way. What about every minute, every second? So if you look at it that way, maybe a better word is illusion. We have this illusion that we are this mind which is ever moving forward, but maybe we're just momentarily existing with memories.
And as for perspective, we see everything on a macro scale also, because just like no two snowflakes are alike, no two cells of wood are alike, right? And if we replace the wooden planks in our ship, they're just wooden planks from the macro version. They're air quotes alike enough that they're the same thing.
Yeah.
But they're actually different matter, and each cell is different, but we're not down there analyzing it with an electron microscope to find the differences. It's just a plank of wood to us.
So here's the challenge at home for everybody. If they created a teleport, would you use it realizing that maybe what's happening is you're getting destroyed and copied? So when you come out the other end, it's a copy. It's not you anymore.
And I think that it, the thing I look about it is that you would be foolish to step into such a transporter, because what would happen is you would be obliterated at a molecular level, and then there would be a different version of you made at the other end. But in the grand scheme of things, it wouldn't matter if that other version is made or not. You're still obliterated at the head end of the thing. So you're going to die. There might be a different version of you at the other end that thinks they're you and has all the same thoughts and memories you had, but it's not you.
But then it
is you, because if it is the essence of you, which is your mind, it is you.
Oh, but that's the exact question.
But I think your awareness will be destroyed when your matter's blown apart, and then how does it know its way to find, what happens ethereally?
Well, see, that's why I don't think we have a soul, or what people think of as a spirit or a soul. That's why teleportation will work, is because you don't have to transfer.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. What if that is what happens to us every night? When we go to sleep, we lose connection with ourselves. Yeah. The idea is that we're all going to die tonight. Each one of us, the consciousness that we are right now is going to die.
Well, that will end the show, really.
After the show.
Talk about
and when we wake up in the morning, there's just going to be a copy of ourselves, a copy that has the memories and thinks it's the same.
Something like 7 years for all of our cells to replenish, so we die and rejuvenate every 7 years.
Every 7 years, I got to buy a new pair of pants.
But that's just it. It does take 7 years.
Down there when you ride the bicycle.
But that's what I'm saying is that's the body, that's the cells. But on a mental level, you could shrink it down to the idea of every day. How do we know that we're not just copies being made in the next morning? There's no way to know that.
Well, that's actually something. A negative doesn't prove a positive.
Right, that's true.
So
I'll just shut up.
Well, this would relate to our discussion on time travel also. Like if you became obliterated in one universe and you pop into a different time and place in a different universe, is that other version really you?
Right.
Do you have a continuity of essence?
Like Star Trek.
If you actually could separate into two minds, say through telerobotics, you could go off and do something here, part of your mind, and over here and do the... If you came back and integrated those two minds, then I think you could... That would be a way of getting yourself back.
Okay.
But even if you look into the past... Even if we say with what Darryl's saying, that it's 7 years, that means the person we were 7 years ago is dead.
Right.
Obliterated completely. But it's the connection that has stood the whole time.
But it's also not like everything gets knocked down and then rebuilt at the same time. There's still old parts and new parts happening continuously.
It's a continuous transition.
Yeah.
Okay, but
it's like repainting the Golden Gate Bridge. By the time they finish doing it at one end, they have to start again on the other. It's just this continuous work of replenishing.
That is an illusion. The illusion that something
the
that is
Golden Gate Bridge. That's a pretty good bridge.
Beefia.
Did that magician guy make it disappear?
That's
Yes.
I don't know his name though.
Copperfield.
Copperfield.
Yeah. David Copperfield.
Right.
so the illusion. Damn it! What was I gonna say?
The illusion is like a hologram of Tupac.
Speaking of movies, Master of Illusions. Oh man, what a flick!
I haven't seen that.
I haven't either. Actually.
The illusion.
Once again, he lost it. In the meantime, I wanted to say that actually that they've done research, and all four of us probably have atoms that were in Einstein. They were part of Albert Einstein.
Right.
And so on that same thinking, I've thought that it's actually a comforting thought that on that same way, some of the atoms that were in my father, who died when I was 8 years old, is now in me.
Yeah.
Still.
Well, it's interesting too. Another aspect of thinking on the macro level, we don't realize how many molecules of air are in a certain volume, but it's basically, one of the things you don't realize is every breath of air you take, you're breathing molecules that the dinosaurs breathed. Because even though they only took in a little tiny bit of the atmosphere, there are so many billions of
so we're breathing dinosaur farts.
Kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I remember what I was going to say.
All right.
The idea that it's an illusion that we think that things that are identical are actually, if we take two things that are exactly the same, and let's say a teddy bear, and they've done this in studies with the kids, and the kid wants his teddy bear. He doesn't want the other teddy bear, even though it could be identical down to the next atom, because we imbue a certain individuality to things.
Yeah.
So the idea is, if there's an exact copy of me, it is me. So it doesn't matter whether that me exists or this me exists. Right. It's just that we happen to have this illusion where we imbue things with a certain individuality, a certain soul. But at the same time, even me saying that, thinking about it, is like, well, if there's another me there and there's me, I don't want to be the one being destroyed. That me's got to go.
Yeah.
Even though that me over there, being an exact copy of me, would be thinking the same thing.
I think the point of view of the you that gets teleported somewhere else, your continuity of experience is just going to end at the point of teleportation.
Yes, it will. And then you will be two different people.
But you would never know it because...
And you wouldn't never know if the other version of you ever popped out or not. Nope. And it's no difference from your point of view.
Right.
That's important to the you that spawns on the other end.
Have to see the Prestige.
Yeah.
Have to.
Okay. Well, we can perhaps make it an assignment. I have been. That's one of them that's on my movie back burner. I definitely have to get to it. Christopher Nolan.
Well, we can make it for next week and make self-awareness be it, but I was going to go into self-awareness next.
Huh? Okay.
Go ahead, talk about self-awareness.
Let's just go to self-awareness. Okay, because I guess that leads into it. What constitutes self-awareness? What is it?
I wasn't prepared for this.
It's in the notes!
I think...
we have notes.
I wasn't on the list with the notes yet.
Yeah,
I just saw the
Paul gets a pass.
I just saw the preview.
Okay, let me start then. I think the idea of self-awareness is metacognition. It's being able to think about the fact that you're thinking, or to model yourself, to make a model of yourself and then think about it. I think that does something magic to the brain, and all of a sudden, bing! Oh, look, here I am.
It's part of that. That's a fancy, schmancy way of saying you're aware of your own existence. That you just. Mm-hmm.
I think you also know that there's an end.
Self-aware.
You know you're a thing.
What about my thing?
You know you're a thing.
Where's my thing?
Where's my thing? Yeah.
I think.
Well, you know what I think? I think it's kind of a feedback loop, because you're modeling the world, and the part of you that's modeling the world is modeling the part that is modeling the world. And we've seen in the, whatever you call that spiral thing, in science, I forget what it's called, somebody's spiral.
Wheel.
That everything copies itself on larger and larger, it's mathematically...
Like how if you look at close-up photos of ice, they resemble the ice sheets in Antarctica.
Exactly, yes. View. Yeah, and there's a theory for that, which we'll look up.
It's kind of like fractals in a way.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so the idea, and part of that idea is that it's a certain sort of feedback where it loops around on itself, and as it loops around and becomes itself in a bigger way, it is increasing in whatever it is. It's still under the same pattern, but it is a more advanced form of it. So I'm thinking that there's a certain feedback that's going on in our brains, which is causing us to be more than we are.
I think, too, being self-aware is knowing there's a future.
Oh, it's a good point. wonder what the heck that was. Sorry, go ahead, Paul. Something was bugging me. I think, what the hell is that?
Probably a little too close to El Monte Airport for this podcast.
We're next to El Monte Airport.
Yeah.
But we should go to LAX and do
what
this.
I heard was what I heard was Paul saying, I think it's knowing the future, and Kail going, oh, I wondered what that was. Like, he just discovered
the future.
I know the future. That's what my...
To our listeners who didn't even hear the airplane.
There was an airplane.
Because like you look at my dog or whatever, and it's just she just goes to sleep and wakes up,
operates on instinct, right?
Where we know, like, okay, if we don't accomplish something today, it's like you plan for tomorrow. Yeah, it's like, oh, let's do that tomorrow. So you're aware that you're going to be somewhere else. You're aware that you're still going to be around.
To even take it to a level, To even take it to a level different from just saying dogs or whatever, but a plant has not necessarily instinctual drive, but it has a self-preservation ability. It's going to try to seek out the nourishment it needs.
Goes to the light,
find the sunlight and everything. So it's going to grow a certain way. But then when you get to human level, our self-awareness makes us where we're conscious of what's at risk. And that's one of the things that separates us from other animals in the animal kingdom. So it's basically, we know what's at stake. We know that we are a thing. We know that we're a physical unit, and we try to preserve that. So it goes beyond instinct. But, for a lot of other mammals, it's just a matter of they're following their drive, not necessarily even recognizing that they're
genetic memory.
And you could even...
You want to describe that?
Yeah, go.
What? Oh, well, it's just a theory. It's that, a beaver automatically knows how to make a dam.
Don't do it, Paul. Don't jump. Don't jump in the beaver.
And even if it's never been with other beavers at all, it's still will know how to make a dam.
Damn!
And that's genetic memory.
Right.
And that's something that we don't have.
Can we talk about badgers instead?
I love it when Kail talks about beavers.
What's cruel is when they shave the beaver.
Oh, gosh. We're off the deep end again.
Nice, beaver.
Going off the rails on a
Okay, but let's take the reptilian mind, the beaver mind. The reptilian mind,
which are the same.
Which is the penis. No, sorry. The reptilian mind... Right. The reptilian mind, the mammal mind, and then we could say maybe the human mind, even though I know we're mammals, we're another level above. Because the reptilian mind is very much based on fight or flee. It's very much instinct. So is the mammal mind, but I would say the mammal mind goes a little bit further. It does have memory. You can teach a dog to do something probably a lot better than you're going to be able to teach a lizard to do something.
Well, and you watch them care for their young.
Yeah,
exactly. It's very different than you watch chimpanzees and gorillas with their young than a fish.
So I think we can separate. There's this lower
or a fox in a box.
There's this lower level of intelligence than another one. We're humans. What would be the next level up?
Good question.
Homo superior.
The aliens that brought us here.
The cyborgs.
Yes.
Yeah.
All good answers. Excellent.
I think it's hard for us to comprehend because of where we're at. It's kind of like teaching a dog what a human thinks.
But if you could...
That would be an intelligent
dog. It
would
be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you can talk!
But also the whole thing about extrapolating...
Dog with the blog?
Family Guy.
Oh.
About extrapolating...
It's just in the middle of one of the shows, Peter suddenly goes, oh my God, you can talk! And he just stares at him.
Oh, yeah. No, okay. All right.
I'm sorry, go on.
I think that... the classic sci-fi, we meet the aliens and they turn hostile and they want to kill us all kind of thing. I think that's a little thinking highly of ourselves because a race with a space being... Spacefaring culture, society would be so indistinguishable from our own. I think they would probably just have vast indifference for us because they're going to stick on their little planet and not go anywhere. Maybe they'll get off their planet in a million years or two, but they're just...
They've got their own prime directive.
It'd be like us panicking about an anthill that's miles down the street, and we go, oh, we got to eradicate that anthill before they make it to our house.
Stephen King did an exactly thought of it that way with The Dome.
Okay.
Yes,
the dome.
the idea of the dome. So, spoiler alert, I'm not going to give anything away for this because it's a relatively new book. They're actually, did you see, doing a miniseries?
Oh, awesome!
Or a series on TV. But it's the basic concept is that we're the ants.
Yeah.
And he really pushes on that, and he says that the aliens have a complete indifference for us.
Yeah, yeah.
But the example he gives in it, which is fantastic, he says, because somebody said when I was a kid I was burning ants, but then, suddenly I thought, maybe I shouldn't do this and stopped. Well, how do you know maybe that wasn't the ants some way trying to communicate with you on a level that you can't understand because you're so far above them? And so basically the idea was that's what we've got to do. Okay. We've got to try to get them to stop.
And it's interesting, too, because Richard Feynman wrote quite a bit about studying ants, where he would just be in his study place at home, and he would see individual ants scouting around. Then he started kind of monitoring them and their social behavior and how they formed their trails and everything. And he would do things where he'd pick them up and place them in different places to see what they would do. And I think that, maybe if there were a vastly superior culture that met with us, there might be some individuals that go, hey, let's see how this works. It might be kind of like a doorway into our past. We can see how primitive cultures arise. And there might be a few people that give the time to think about it. But then, as far as us interfering with their goals and plans and everything, we might be eradicated if we're in the way, a la Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe.
Yeah.
But, if we're off to the side and no bother to them, then, they might occasionally, out of curiosity, give us a glance. But
well, there's the whole idea, too, that maybe they don't even interact with us, and maybe they're here right now. Because think about an ant. Like, an ant sees light, but it doesn't see anything like we see. It doesn't experience anything like that. To them, we're a force of nature. Like, they don't see a big, huge human going, I'm gonna step on you. They're just all of a sudden, why is Bob smushed? It's like, dude, what's going on here? Why am I suddenly upside down on this thing in toaster or something?
There's another thing, too. We, as humans, we apply agency to things, where even when they're not a living creature, we tend to kind of think that things happen a certain way due to cause and effect, and that there's some... Right, we give it some sort of motivations, right? Well, I've heard about research that indicates that even though smaller animals don't necessarily give agency to things the way that we do, they'll sometimes recognize a human being as something like a pack. Like if you're holding your cat, they might think of each of your hands as individuals. And then your face with your voice is another individual.
Really?
So you're like a pack of animals that are its friends. And it doesn't necessarily identify you as one whole being. And then I don't know how they did this experiment to figure that out. Right. But
Well, that comes down to what I was saying, because then what would an ant think of you? It wouldn't think of you...
They would only see like the sole of your... little piece of the sole of your shoe.
Yeah, exactly.
No idea.
Well, and that's just it. How do we not know that a hurricane is the sole of some super being's shoe or something like that? I mean, that's a broad expanse, but something like that. Yeah, what would the super being be to us that maybe we don't know anything about?
Right, the spacefaring individuals might be giant gas clouds floating through space.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Well, like the Men in Black. At the end, when we're inside the little marble, our universe is inside the marble, and they're playing. They're playing with us. Yeah.
What? With our beavers?
That's it.
No, they're playing with our balls.
Oh boy,
our beavers are in their balls.
Yes. Okay, or there's South Park where we're actually
we're past an hour. It's official.
It was almost canceled.
Okay, wait. Let's move on then to the last thing, which is the powers of the mind.
Yeah.
Powers for silence.
What do you think are our powers of our mind? I put down imagination, dreams, and mind control. What do you think we can do with our minds?
We can control our own bodies.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Can we go beyond?
We apparently can't control ourselves.
If you think about
You're right, I'm getting a little
We're hosted by a primate. Thank you.
Yep, we have now passed.
Joey's a monkey.
Joey's now freaked out. We've gone over an hour.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, baby. So, the powers of the mind are numerous and many. Maybe we'll stop there.
This is the powers of the mind is how you interpret things. If you look at Hitler, how the way he would speak to people and the power that he had over people.
That's true.
To eradicate a whole other people.
To commit genocide or attempt to, anyway.
And to believe in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that definitely is a power.
There's influence.
Influence.
People
Or
have
some
influence,
people, there's some people that
some people have that charisma, and
I know I don't have it.
yeah.
I can't even win the respect of you people.
What'd you just say?
Sorry, I'm trying to do Chewbacca.
Somebody get this walking carpet out of my life.
I'm sorry. Sorry, what were we talking about? Hitler? What?
No. And what are the powers of mind control? I do not think they exist except in the way that Paul was saying.
I think there are a lot of facets of ourselves that we attempt to identify through the arts. And that's one of the things I like about certain stories and movies. I like the ones that turn the eye introspectively and let you kind of analyze parts of the human psyche that sometimes we're afraid to face, because there's a lot of primal instinct in there that to live as a sane society and to keep from breaking down.
Dude, as long as you don't start throwing poop at us, we're cool, right?
Yeah. But I think that's like
he's
we have
tying into his genetic memory.
Everybody has dark corners in their head, and we try not to always shine the light there. But
we just did. Dark corners and Joey's.
Oh my God! Please clean that corner out.
Well, the thing is, like we tend to think in a sort of elitist way of like we look back in history, and you were talking about all the people that Hitler influenced, and say that you tend to think to yourself, I could not be so stupid as to fall for his shtick. Right, like I'm not gonna go for the Hitler shtick.
Yeah.
The thing is that you don't know until you're in that situation. And I think that's part of the power of this communication. If you could see things from someone else's perspective, you might be able to understand how they fell prey to some of the darker aspects of their psyche.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, tied it right back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Man.
That's a good place to go.
You have to ask, could if with his charisma, with his power, is there anyone that could match his drama today? That could be
Kevin Spacey.
Alive?
No,
Kevin Spacey. You got it!
Yeah, it's the media.
Maybe walking.
Oh, that's good.
Wait, what?
It's the media.
The media. Okay.
The media is,
so the media
if you see the media as an entity,
you
use that. Whoever controls the media can control people.
Yeah.
True.
And then at the same time, the media is becoming more dispersed because the internet is democratizing things. So now everyone has a voice. I mean, any little group of people can put out a podcast, right?
Yeah. Any group of idiots.
Right, exactly. No one's there to say yes or no to us. We don't have to go to the radio station and ask permission.
And they could go on and ramble incoherently.
Oh my gosh.
They never know when
and just say...
Wait for it.
Wait. All right. I think we're about to wrap up unless you guys want to go on.
Patient. No one called me on that.
No one did. It's getting too late. All right. So unless anybody's got anything else to say about the mind, we didn't talk about
where we're going next week.
No, we don't.
Oh, we don't.
I do have a question about the mind.
Yes.
Sure.
Now, when Starscream originally was destroyed,
he's a parrot.
In the movie, and then he became a ghost.
Yes.
Was he still the same Starscream, or was he an entity of his original mind?
I think
his brain was destroyed. Was that his mind?
What about when Megatron got turned into Galvatron?
Very good point.
Yes.
Huh?
Yeah, all that.
And became Leonard Nimoy for the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And then,
I'm Peter Weller. I'm Leonard Nimoy now.
All right.
Awesomeness.
So, who disrupts my coronation?
So,
Coronation Starscream.
That's bad comedy. Megatron, is that you?
Here's a hint.
Oh no, it's Leonard Nimoy.
What did he say his name was again?
What did he say his name was? Galvatron.
What?
How about Transformers?
Yeah,
I say Transformers.
We've lost control of the other channel.
It's not like we made the entire movie out of toys one time.
We didn't do that. We did that, didn't we?
Oh, you guys memorize that way too well.
I love that.
No kidding.
Oh man,
Paul and I love it.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So, the ideas?
Well, no, the ideas we had were the thing you read with that came together. There's a word all the technology go whoosh.
Singularity.
The singularity,
it, but not in the black hole. The technology singularity, and
do you know why it's called
interesting.
that? Actually,
Wait, do we have to read a book?
Yeah. Okay, Kail, tell us why it's called the singularity.
Well, it's because it's where the life, once we reach that point, is going to be so different we can't imagine it.
Yeah.
And so they use the same word as a singularity as a black hole, where we don't know what's beyond,
and you can't come back
because you can't see beyond the event horizon.
Right.
Exactly.
There's no lane escapes there. Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so technological singularity for next week.
Singularity, I'm on that. Yeah.
Okay, and
I think I suggested it a couple weeks ago. Actually,
a movie for it.
So
honestly, I'm kind of thinking let's not
the black hole. No, I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, with that little
honestly,
Maximilian.
Honestly, looking at this podcast, I think the beginning was a little slow when we were talking about the movie, and I think it got better when we started talking about other stuff.
Hey, I talked the most during that
way in other podcasts.
Right.
That's why you should just watch the trailer.
And you're the one who put Brainstorm at the beginning of our talk.
Right? No,
it's your fault once again, Joey.
Well, why don't we try not... well, I don't know. What do you guys think?
I want a movie.
All right, fine. We'll give him a movie.
Anybody but what has to do with the singularity? A big leap in...
I feel an edit coming.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just say no movie.
No movie.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
All right.
We might
but if you think of something, then
we'll tell you next week.
It'll be a surprise.
We'll put it on.
If we find a good movie to go with,
technological singularity.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We'll find a good.
I'm totally down.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap up. Then this is Joey Shamble. You can always find me at www.iamrambling.com. Oh, we don't have to say www.
We might though.
Oh, we might. So we'll say
the forwarding.
www.iamrambling.com. We also have
Kail Anderson, and you can reach me at Rom's Rants. It's blogspot.com.
And Darryl Jors, you can find me at jors.com. That's GIORS.
And Paul Hottinger, you can find me at heyitspaul.com.
And let's say goodbye. And Scar.
Thanks for coming, Paul.
Thanks,
thank you.
Paul. Thank you so much for coming. And Starscream, take us out.
Woo!
Hey, Megatron, thanks for listening. You can stop screaming at the open air. More listeners should put their minds back in their upright positions and resume traditional thinking. Megatron, please, no! Find us at IamRambling.com for access to all of our weekly ramblings, show notes, general discussions, and projects from Incoherent Ramblings. Like us on Facebook and iTunes. So long, and thank God the fish Megatron don't hurt me! Now before the Megatron! Let's get the hell out of here!
Wait.
We're waiting. Oh yeah, good call. Oh yeah, we gotta turn off some other stuff.
Let's turn some stuff off.
Okay.
Well, I already stopped everything, so we should be good now.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like we were in our private jet.
Excuse us.
Yes.
Awesome.
We're flying to the Caribbean today.
Yes. To look for some pirates.
Because we took all that money we made from our podcast. Well, we go someplace safe with it. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. 10 seconds now. We have drinking animals. I thought it was your keyboard at first. I'm like, why are you typing? Stop.
Oh, see, you always blame it on me.
I know.
It's always, that's right.
But where your hands were, it looked just right for it.
That's the second time
he's done something else.
He always thinks it's Linda, but it's Monty right now drinking.
Oh, Monty, how you've
And as soon as we start talking, the rats will start running.
But see, that's just going to become part of the show.
It has.
It has.
Yeah.